Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we appreciate your patience and thank you for being a part of the show where sports truly meets that thing called life. You are with us Monday through Friday between 9 and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and you are on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, and those are worldwide. So here in central and upstate New York, my home, as well as up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, into my second home of Florida, and all across the world, you can listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and hear Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So however you're connected with the show, however you're tuning in this morning, I appreciate you, I thank you, and I look forward to having a great show with you today. So with that being said, we have inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', some awesome things coming up. Of course, it is a Wednesday, and Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Dolphin time, we have the opportunity to speak with the wonderful student athletes and coaches inside of Dolphin Dive during Dolphin time, and I'm always grateful for this opportunity to speak with the Dolphins. So I look forward to this and look forward to the opportunity of sharing with you what's coming up this morning in our Dolphin Dive today. You know that Dolphin Time is here with us with the Dolphins of LeMoyne College every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Dolphin Time, first and third Wednesday of each month, is AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we jump into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni, which is what we call the Dolphin Dive. And today we will be diving in to the wonderful world of cross country and track with Robin Wheeless, the head coach of the men's and women's cross country and track teams at LeMoyne College, with track just finishing up one of their meets here and having the opportunity to discuss that and catch up with Robin and speak on his student athletes that move to Division I and everything going on the heights in the world of track, as track is in full swing right now. So I look forward to that around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time today. We're also going to get into NCAA football conversation and what that future may be. There's been some predictions that I've had over the last 2 to 3 years, and it looks like some of that stuff might be coming to fruition. It looks like that bouncing ball is heading in certain directions. And we're going to get into the NFL, what I think teams need. We're going to do that assessment here coming up within the next couple days. And then on draft night on Thursday, April 25th, Al Romano is going to be joining me on site, on location at Pizza Man Pub on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York, and him and I are going to give our entire mock draft for round one. So on the night of the draft at 6 p.m. at Pizza Man, we will be giving our predictions for picks 1 through 32, and then at 8 o'clock the draft starts, and at Pizza Man, Al and I will see how we did, and we'll enjoy the draft with all the patrons at Pizza Man. So looking forward to that opportunity to hang out with you at Pizza Man Pub, 50 Oswego Street, a week from tomorrow on April 25th at 6 p.m. Al Romano, national champion with the Pittsburgh Panthers in college, and teammate Tony Dorsett. He will be joining me, Al Romano will, on site, on location at Pizza Man Pub, and the national champion and I will be selecting our mock draft picks for the 2024 NFL Draft Round 1. So very much looking forward to that with Al, but I'm going to be bringing you some information coming into it, getting some thoughts and talking about each team and kind of giving you that background of what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking and doing all that, because I don't want to just do one moment for the NFL Draft. I definitely want to get into a bunch of things when it comes to the NFL Draft, because I am very excited. I love the prediction side of things and trying to figure out where teams are going to go, and I've had a lot of fun with it over the last couple of years. So I look forward to doing that with you and look forward to you joining us at Pizza Man. So a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, and I cannot thank you enough for being a part of the show. So as we get set in just a few minutes to have Robin Wheeless on, who's going to join us a little bit later today at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, let's get into the NCAA side of things, and let's discuss what's happening in the NCAA world when we're talking about football and all of that. Now, I get emails that come to me all throughout the week, pretty much daily, and I had one that came up that said this: former Fox Sports president Bob Thompson wonders why the Big Ten and SEC would have any interest in the Super League setup being considered by College Sports Tomorrow and Cracks Media. Cracks Media principal Patrick Crakes Crakes Media. So okay, let's try this again. So this being considered by College Sports Tomorrow and Crakes Media principal Patrick Crakes responds. He says, quote, "This version was designed by folks on the outside trying to figure out how they get inside. Also, no one has given thought to how this gets paid for in current and medium-term media distribution environment either. It is a super league with a bunch of non-super teams, which is a problem." Thomas notes that the right model, quote, "from an economic standpoint is probably one that pisses off a bunch of people. That brings in the politicians and the whole thing rolls right off the cliff and nothing happens." End quote from Crakes. He also said economics of an 80-team league are not enough to properly compensate the 20 schools that drive all the value. Anyway, not one thing will happen until we sort out where all the future economics will come from, as current distribution configuration can't support this, end quote. Now, CBS's Dennis Dodd pointed out that realignment, quote, was about consolidation. The pressure, and then Crakes added, the pressure on the declining pay TV system, which still and probably will in the future covers 80% of the economics for Tier 1 sports media distributors, can only support realignments in leagues that over-earn on strategic value to the general market sports fans that subscribe to pay TV. Properties that meet that definition are getting harder to find. There isn't any room for a super league that isn't filled with super teams from top to bottom. End quote. So, what I said over 2 years ago was that I believe the SEC, and I actually years before that was talking about the fact that autonomy conferences are by definition self-governing. So why call themselves that in a legal sense unless they had some thought down the road that they could or wanted the option to leave the NCAA. So I had said years ago, I believe the SEC is going to get bigger and going to leave. The SEC has expanded. They'll have 16 teams as of next season, with Oklahoma and Texas, 16 institutions, I should say. And with those 16 institutions, they will be in a place where I think they were going to go for a few more. Get to 20, 18 at the least. If Clemson and Florida State can get out, that's where I predicted them going a while back. Because of the fact that, number one, they're Southern schools. Number two, their rivalries lie in the SEC. Clemson versus the SEC South Carolina. Florida State versus the SEC's Florida. It makes no sense for them to join the Big Ten. And I know that people say realignment nowadays has nothing to do with geography, Dan, and yada, yada, yada. But I think as the SEC gets bigger, they may do away with non-conference opponents. And in that case, their rivalries would now be within their conference. Now, the argument that Crakes was making of the Super League doesn't make sense with the Big Ten and the SEC. Within the last couple of years, I made the statement of I think the Big Ten after getting USC, UCLA, and then Oregon and Washington, wants to go with the SEC when the SEC forms its own league and they're trying to be attractive to the SEC. I do believe that these conferences could break away. I have believed the SEC could do it for a while. I now think the Big Ten has something to offer the SEC that substantiates a coast-to-coast grouping of institutions that covers pretty much every major football gem. And I think and I've said this many times on the show, you can go back and listen to it and watch it, Notre Dame, if they were to join the Big Ten, which makes the most sense, and Clemson and Florida State were to join the SEC, then at that point, with those teams, plus Alabama, plus Auburn, plus Georgia, plus Florida, plus LSU, plus Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State and Oregon and Washington and UCLA and so on and so forth, in my opinion, the Big Ten and the SEC would have everything that they needed. Because you would look at the ACC without Clemson and Florida State and who is their football identifier. You look at the American Athletic Conference, which I have tremendous respect for, and they've had to constantly reload, who is their main identifier. You look at the MAC, who's their main identifier. You look at the Sun Belt, who's their main identifier. Because some people might say Coastal Carolina, you could say Appalachian State, and then James Madison. So they don't have a main identifier. You look at the Mountain West, and you could say Boise State in their case, but that ship of Boise State being at the top of the heap and being undefeated, that hasn't happened in a while, right? That ship has been docked for some time in national exposure. In national prominence, I should say. So there's that side of it. And then I look at the other conferences. I look at the Big 12 and say, who's their national identifier? Well, they were Oklahoma and Texas. Maybe it's Baylor now. But does that carry enough weight? The Pac-12's gone. So when we're looking at this, the SEC and the Big Ten pretty much have all of the college football pieces that they need. And if they were to get Notre Dame, Florida State, and Clemson, then it's over. So where we are right now is that if this is where we are to be, I can understand Craig's point of saying, hey, some of these conferences have institutions that don't necessarily fit what he's calling the Super League, right? The model. Because I think, and he didn't name names, but I think the mentality is there's certain schools that the Marylands and the Vanderbilts and I don't think people can say Missouri because look what Missouri did this past year. But the Marylands, the Vanderbilts, what some people would say the Missouri, the Rutgers, the Nebraskas, how are they adding value to a Super League? So the argument that I'm getting from Craig's is, okay, if the Big Ten and the SEC formed a Super League, when he said there's non-super teams that would be in this. You have to have super teams from top to bottom. I am not seeing that model. And I didn't call it a super league. I see the Big Ten and the SEC having the components that they need. And if they have Notre Dame, Florida State, and Clemson in some way, shape, or form, then I think they have everything. And at that point, what does the rest of college football, Division 1A, FBS, have to say? And that's why I just talked about the rest of the country. You know, who is the national power in the American? Who is the national power in the ACC without Clemson? Who is the national power in the Sun Belt? Who is the national power in the Mountain West? Who is the national power in the MAC? There is no Pac-12. Who is the national power in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Texas leaving? So if you don't have that on the outside, right, then everything's on the inside with the Big Ten and the SEC. And yeah, there's going to be schools that don't hold and carry as much weight, but that doesn't take away from the fact that those two conferences would have every major institution in college football. And why build to the point that they built to? Why would the Big Ten put their institution, because this is beyond football, folks. This is field hockey, this is volleyball, this is soccer, this is lacrosse, this is softball, baseball, to say you got to go 2,300, 2,400 miles to play a conference game. You know? And when you're going across country like that, you're not missing a day of school. You might be missing 4 days, a week. And to do something like this, which I don't think really took into account the Olympic sports, to do something of this magnitude, in my opinion, is putting us in a place where why would they do this unless there was at least the thought and some type of formatted plan of the Big Ten and the SEC to break away. And speaking of breakaway, we're going to break away for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We'll be back in just a moment with our LeMoyne Dolphins Dolphin Dive special. Stay tuned right after this as we get to celebrate cross country and track on the heights at LeMoyne.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and with the opportunity to focus on this men's track feature, I'm very honored and privileged to have Alex Colonno here with us, as well as Robin Wheeless, who will be joining the show picture-in-picture momentarily here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and truly appreciate the moment and always appreciate having LeMoyne joining us here where sports meets life. They are going to be on screen together here this morning as we celebrate cross country and track and what's happening recently here in the men's track world. So, gentlemen, how are you?
You doing?
I'm doing.
Hey, Dan, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, I'm doing very well. So, Alex, I want to start with you here. What is it about LeMoyne that spoke to you in the recruiting process? What made you want to come to the Heights and ultimately helped us to see you in green and gold?
Yeah, of course. So since I've been applying for jobs, actually, I get that question quite often. And so I applied to all the bigger schools. I applied to UMass Lowell, UMass Amherst, so a few close to my house, UAlbany, and a lot bigger schools compared to LeMoyne. And then when I came on my overnight to LeMoyne and I met the team and I saw the campus and I saw the classroom sizes, that was a big thing for me, was your biggest lecture hall was going to be, 30, 40 kids. And the sense of community I saw and how close everybody was on the team and on campus, that's what really sold me on LeMoyne. So, and ever since then, the community I've had with the professors and friends here, it's perfect. So,
and having that, Coach, when you were looking obviously to find the right fits, and with you overseeing men's and women's cross country, men's and women's track, you have a lot of different jobs that kind of all combine into one. What was it about Alex that spoke to you and made you see that he should be a part, or wanted him to be a part of what you were doing at LeMoyne?
Alex is a couple of things. Alex is a personality. He is, he might come after your job. He's always on. He's the guy that feeds the dean of the business school jokes when he's doing his talk. And Alex is also a fierce competitor. It's when it comes to the end of the race, if he's within a yard or so of a person, he's going to do everything in his power to try and catch him. It's really, if he feels he can get there, he's going to give it everything he's got. And I look for that in people. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, and Alex, for you to hear that from your coach sitting right next to you, just what that means to you, his faith in you, his belief in you, whether you're in the sport itself or you're out of the sport, like Coach said, feeding jokes to the dean, coming after somebody's job with the personality that you have, or being at that last part of a race and battling out to try and get in front of somebody. What does that mean to hear those words?
I definitely appreciate it. It means a lot. And it's just, I hope to be that it inspires people to just be the best they can be. And I just do it because, and I just try to be the best person I can be and wake up every morning and just be happy and tell jokes. Because I want to get the best out of people, and to hear that, it means a lot to me. So,
and for for you, Alex, as you have kind of looked upon what you've done so far at LeMoyne and any moments that, maybe have stuck out to you in a special way, do you have some things that you can go back to, some moments you can go back to and reflect on that really describe the student athlete that you are? Can you pick any of those out?
I think that, yeah, there's definitely a few. So I'm this year I'm co-captain with four other captains, five other captains, and we've had the opportunity to, step up to that official role and be a representative of the team, and just being being in that position and being there for everyone on the team, and just having somebody know that there is a fellow student who's gone through what they've gone through, and can help them and answer questions for them, and kind of guide them. That's kind of how I've, as an athlete and as a leader, kind of helped younger athletes under me, and kind of help guide them and make sure they can be, they're happy, and they're getting everything they want out of LeMoyne and the program.
And why do that? Why pay it forward when you have, people see leadership differently. They see the opportunity of being a captain or being someone who has, that opportunity to have a say above other people on the team. Some people take that and run with it in a negative way. Some people see it more as a dictatorship. Why is leadership to you paying it forward? Why is it helping other people?
Yeah, and you're definitely right. People do get power hungry, and it does happen, and people do abuse power in leadership roles. So for me, I have the dual major in marketing and management leadership, and I've had a lot of great management and leadership professors, and my parents are both in leadership roles. So just to see, I've seen the good and I've seen the bad in leadership, and you can be a lot more successful and you can get a lot more done, and people are a lot more happier if you don't abuse it and you do the right thing and you come. And I'm a firm believer in lead by example. If you wouldn't do it yourself, don't have somebody else do it. And there's a lot of people that say, "Do as I say, not as I do," and those are the power hungry leaders that will abuse their power, and have everybody do jobs that they don't want to do. And that's not how you run a successful team or a successful group of people. So just lead by example and just inspire, and that's be the best person you could be.
Yeah, and I can definitely appreciate all of that. Robin, when you hear that come from one of the leaders in your programs at LeMoyne, what does it mean to you to hear those words and how Alex defines leadership?
No, he's absolutely right about trying to help others and bring out the best in people. It's the whole, you can get more out of them if they feel you're working together. But the thing to me is, it's not just words with these guys. I really love when I get a note from the bus driver saying your team cleaned up the bus afterwards, and it was fantastic. And I had a coach pull me aside at the last meet saying, I had our lunch dropped off for us and I couldn't handle all of it. Your team jumped in and helped get my stuff to my tent where everyone was set up there. So it's not just nice words that people say. They really live by those words. They follow up with the action.
Yeah, and I can definitely appreciate this. I feel like talking about this in an election year, I need you both on a campaign with me right now. That's what I feel like we need to start working on.
Yeah.
But in the world of cross country and track, and I know we're coming off of some things that have happened in the track world that I'll talk with you, Coach, about in a second here. But when you look at this, there's not always the spotlight and the love and coming to LeMoyne and having the opportunity to have this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, it was for me to put everybody on an even line. Cross country and track are extremely difficult, extremely taxing on the body, and also extremely great to spotlight and showcase because of what student athletes have to do, what coaches have to do, and how to put this whole world of cross country and track together. Alex, for you, why should there be more of a spotlight nationally on it? Why should we see it more? Why should there be more exposure to the world of cross country and track?
Yeah, that's okay. That's a great question. So, track, cross country and track is the kind of sport where you don't know how people are going to do and you don't know how people are going to perform. So, I'll give you an example. When I started running track freshman year of high school, and it was we didn't do tryouts and we didn't have cuts. So after all the other sports teams made their cuts, um, a lot of people ended up, coming and signing up for indoor track, and they're kind of beat up. They're kind of upset because they got cut from other winter sports they wanted to participate in, and then they step on the line, and all of a sudden they're great track athletes, and they never would have imagined it. And if we had from the first day of practice, they're different athletes from the first day of practice to the last day of practice. You improve, you get better, you become mentally strong, physically strong. You have the support of your teammates, your coaches, the people around you, your friends and family. And since we don't have cuts and we don't have that initial pressure, people are able to become the best version, the best athlete of themselves, and just not worry and go out and have a good time. And they end up being a star runner when they're getting cut from, you're being told in one moment you're not good enough to be on one sport, but here you are, star of another. So cross country and track is definitely one of the sports where the talent is in you. You just have to find a way to get it out. And everybody, running is one of the biggest sports in the world, hobby jogging, and everybody can run, everybody runs, everybody knows a lot about running, but the sport itself is kind of, in main media, kind of neglected. So the fact that everybody can, not be judged and just go out there and be great at it, and be the best version of themselves, you definitely need to have more of a spotlight on it.
For you, Coach, coming off of that, what do you think that this nation can do to take care of cross country and track, get it the exposure that it should have? What can we do? Have you seen anything done? I know that this is a huge passion of yours, and I know that it runs through your veins. So what can we do?
Well, I really think it has to start more at the local media level. The not that there aren't a lot of high school participants in other sports, but track and field has more kids than most of the other sports. And every grandparent, every parent, aunts and uncles, they want to know. They want to see something in the paper give, a little half-inch section to list the team scores. And they don't give any real detail to what happened. And no offense to the other sports, but it's, even if SU has a horrible season, their football team is going to be the front page of the sports section. It's going to have 3 or 4 different stories on what happened to the game, how did they do, all of that. More stories on just if they highlighted 1 or 2 teams a week, showed a little bit of detail about one meet, that would, help inform the public. And I think when you see our sport, a lot of people don't understand the competition. So when they see it on TV, it's kind of like, let me see the 100-yard dash, let me see this. They don't want to see all of the meet. Whereas for work several years ago, I was over in Europe and I'm flicking through the TV to see what was on. And I could have watched the World Championships for track and field in 3 different languages.
Yeah.
It was continuous footage streaming every second of the meets, and 3 different channels were carrying it. So over in Europe, they have an appreciation. They understand the sport, and even though it doesn't have the big collisions and stuff for football, I still think American citizens are smart enough to get into a sport like track and field and understand it. If it's out there enough and they get a chance to learn about it a little more.
Yeah, and I definitely think that it's cyclical, right? And we've seen it even with the WNBA. When you look at, and when you've seen it with the NWSL too, when we look at women's athletics and professional basketball, professional soccer, there was the notion of it's not on TV because nobody cares. So then people didn't care because they couldn't get the information. And then they said, well, we can't put it on TV because people don't want to see it and there's not enough sponsors, but they created that world. So then it just kept going around and around and around until somebody said, okay, let's put it on television. And, the women's basketball tournament that we just got done seeing, that wasn't on TV when I was growing up as a kid. Like you said, little blurbs in the paper for track and for cross country. There was a tiny section. There was this massive board for men's basketball, and here's the tournament, and cut it out and pick your team and send it into the paper. And then there was this little tiny thing that might have shown you a couple scores. All I knew growing up, UConn, maybe Tennessee. The national championship game was televised, but nobody saw who played in those games to get there. It's crazy to think, but it's very real to me that women's basketball had little to no exposure on national television most of the year. And then when you talk about cross country and track and you say, a little half inch, a little blurb, and that it's only got a score for the team, but it doesn't tell you who's performing individually. My question to you, Robin, is obviously you have to have good relationships with the coaches, and I know that you recruit locally. How do you get, is it really through them that you're getting the information because it's not so readily accessible? Do you kind of rely on going to some of these relationships and bridges you have and say, hey, tell me who's doing what, tell me how this person's performing, show me the numbers, because you can't do what another coach can do, which is go up on YouTube and pull up some film on something, or just go to the paper and see how different teams and individuals are performing. Does it make your job more difficult, essentially, that the media doesn't give it the coverage? You have to do more legwork, and I'm sure you have to have really close relationships around the community to know what's going on.
Well, with the things have become very everything's on the web someplace.
Yeah,
it's not something that the public will be exposed to, but I think the track and field world and the cross country world, they do a very good job of putting the results out online. It's so I can see most of the major invitationals. I can see the results, and that's available, but it's not in a place where you're going to get any develop any new fan base. People aren't going to be flicking through the TV,
right?
But they do have a lot of results available online. It's sifting through it is a little trickier thing, but
yeah, I was gonna say, as a coach, it should be easier for you, right? Because you should be looking for the talent. It's hard enough to scour and find the right pieces. To find information in general should not be a difficult thing for you to do. Alex says, we have this conversation and we discuss this. What made you fall in love with the world of cross country and track, knowing that it isn't the one that gets the front line spotlight? You know, some people do get drawn to sports because of that. Like Coach said, hey, if you're a bad football team, but you're the only football team in the community, you're going to be in the spotlight whether you're 12-0 or 0-12. So what is it about cross country and track that spoke to you, spoke to your heart in a way that made you say, hey, regardless of what's happening on the outside, I love this?
Yeah. So the way I started my running career, I got a text from my buddy, who was on the football team. We went to high school together. I got a text from him the summer before high school started, and I was on vacation. And he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna sign up for indoor track and field in the winter. You should do it with me. You know, you got some time to think about it." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I never really done sports. I'm not really sure, but I'll think about it." So, you know, I think we had to sign up in like end of September, October for indoor sports. So, you know, the deadline rolls around. I said, yeah, I'll try it. So I started as a sprinter, and I wasn't the best sprinter, but I was doing it, and I was like, you know what, this feels good to play a sport. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, you know, track, it's an individual sport. It's not really a team sport. You know, it's not a team dynamic. It's more of an individual dynamic. And I got to practice, and I was expecting this individual based dynamic, and the camaraderie on a track team and on a cross country team, it's very deep. And you know, my family saw it, and it's one of those things where it's like people say it's not a team sport, but they couldn't be more wrong, because it is so much of a team sport. And people, it could be hard to go on a long run. You know, you get up early in the morning on a Sunday, it's cold, it's dark, it's raining outside, and you're like, it's so easy to say you're not going to go on a run.
Yeah.
And then you get that text from a teammate, and you're like, hey, you want to go on a run together? And all of a sudden you got a reason to run. And then you're like, you get out there and you're doing it, and you're like, I'm really glad I did this, because now if you don't run, you're not only letting yourself down, but you're letting the team down. And that sense of community, that sense of camaraderie, and just being there for one another, it really helps to make you a better runner. And that's, even though it's not like a headline sport, it's still, it gives you a feeling of accomplishment.
Coach, for you, speaking here in this edition of Dolphin Dive with Alex Colonno and head coach Robin Wheeless, and living in the cross country and track world on the heights at LeMoyne. For you, Robin, you and I have spoken over the years about why you do it, why you're in it, your passion for it. This year's team specifically, when you look at the teams that you have and the makeup that you have on the men's and women's side, what has been most rewarding about these specific student athletes?
Well, I really feel like we've got a younger team than we've had in the past, and they really have come in with a fresh enthusiasm for things, and it really feeds on, you know, it becomes contagious, where everyone's excited about getting better. The meet, our meet got shifted to Sunday this week, and we had so many people run personal bests. Yeah. And it was like, you've got one heat after another of an event, and it was just, you know, people would finish and then they're cheering for their teammates, and it's the excitement that this team brings, I think, really is refreshing.
And when you look at the fact that, you know, this has obviously all come within a move to the NEC, a move to Division I, what has that done, if anything, in what you've seen? I know you said you have younger teams now. So when you look at this, Robin, what does it mean to be a Division I program across the board for men's and women's cross country and track? And what does it mean to be inside of the NEC, and how has this all looked in year one as we're stepping into May in just a few weeks, which will be a full calendar year of the decision to go Division One. What has that looked like for cross country and track at LeMoyne?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the competition is pretty tough, but we have a wide range of athletes on our team, and it's brought a little more competition where, you know, the conference championship is difficult. So that's gonna be tough on the team. But the beauty of our sport is it's a little bit less about how did you place, but how did you do compared to yourself? Have you improved? Have you gotten better at some aspect of the race or of the throwing or jumping? Have you improved? So you can take that piece without winning an event. You can run personal bests. But one of the things that's really been exciting, I think, is even though there was all the talk about not being able to go on in the NCAA championships, we were able to go to the IC4A ECAC championship. So all of a sudden we have a place where our top athletes can go on and really look to compete against, outstanding competition. So yeah. I think it's even though we weren't allowed to go with the NCAA portion of it, I think we've gotten back some very good stuff out of this.
Yeah, and Alex, from your point of view, I mean, you've obviously spent time on the heights over the years at LeMoyne. What's it been like for you to have this be a part of your portfolio now, part of the NEC, part of Division One, doing something that we don't see happen every day with institutions, because it is not an easy thing to do in many different ways. So the experience of moving conferences and moving divisions, how have you experienced what's been happening in the big picture in your personal life as a student athlete?
Yeah, so the competition's definitely you notice a difference, and the training, it's, as a runner, you see other teams, they can have longer practices, like lacrosse can practice longer, baseball, soccer, their practice times all increase. For us, the practice and our practice plans, they went up in volume a little bit, but as a runner, you can only do so many miles a week, and even though your practice time can get longer, you can only do so many miles in a week. Yeah. No matter what division you're at. So it wasn't like practice-wise, it wasn't that much of a drastic change. Like, we went up a little bit in volume, but it wasn't anything crazy. But I think personally, I've experienced that with the increase in competition. I feel that we as a team and myself, we responded positively, and you could see it with our past results, that people are PRing and people are getting school records broken, and they're running their best. And even, since we went up that competition level, and we're not like ostriches, we didn't bury our heads in the sand. We said, all right, let's do this. We got nothing to lose. And in the beginning, though, I will say that it came as a shock to me, and most of the other student athletes on campus were just like, oh dang, this is going to be tough. And I think the only thing that has to adapt is, as a student athlete, that student part of it, I think some professors are a little late to respond to that moving up in the D1 level. And I don't think a lot of professors know what goes on behind the scenes of a D1 athlete and how much back end we're putting into our sport.
Yeah.
And a lot of professors willy nilly are just like, hey, listen, um, I don't really that's not important to me. You gotta do the work, and it's just like to go from a day of competition to getting home late to going to class the next morning, and stuff gets forgotten, and professors need to be more understanding of that. And it's not all of them. It's just a few professors are just like, we're D1 now. You just got to catch up with that and be more understanding to the athletes.
And I think, obviously the growing curve for everybody on the campus,
Yeah.
right, is adjusting and changing. I want to get into rapid fire where we all get to put each other on the hot seat and have some fun with this over the next couple of minutes. But before I do that, Alex, as a very proud goatee wearing man, I see that you used to have one, but you're clean shaven today.
Yes.
So I want to know, why did you leave the goatee club, and will we get you back?
All right. So here's what happened. I was home. I was home for break last month, whenever it was, and I decided to trim my goatee after I showered, and the mirror was all fogged up, and
Right.
I couldn't see what I was doing, and I was like, I can totally do this. It's no problem at all. And then I unfogged the mirror, and I was like, crap. And it looked pretty bad, so I walked down. I walked downstairs, and I was like, Ma, does this look all right? And she goes, No, you got to shave it. And I was like, oh boy. So then I asked my dad, I was like, Pa, how's this look? He's like, you got to shave it. So I just like, okay. So I just clean shaved it. And then since then, I'll grow it back out, but I've just been keeping it clean shaven for now.
Yeah, it's something that, and I've done the same thing. You're in the shower and you're like, okay, I know I can get this part. It's away from it. I know I can do that. But if you mess up one side, you have to equal the other side,
Yeah.
and then you have to kind of go back and forth and see if it's salvageable. All I know is that Robert Downey Jr. must have a team that does this to his face, because it's very intricate. So, Robin, my question to you is, where's your go-to? No, I'm kidding. So, my to look at what you had mentioned before, and it's something I want to celebrate, is that at the Brockport Invitational that you spoke about that just happened a couple days ago here, Rosalie Vincent from Bishop Grimes and Christopher Moser of West Genesee both had awesome opportunities out there to make some history. Rosalie with 2 program records, and Christopher Moser setting one of those records, to share with us what they did that day, and just to celebrate Rosalie and Christopher and the most recent invitational that you had, to see these bests that are happening, like you said, about, looking at each day, each meet, each opportunity as, can I be better than I was yesterday?
Well, they had an excellent day, and for they both actually both of them ran PRs in both the 100 and 200. It was we really got lucky with the weather. The forecast had been for rain all day, and it was raining when we got there, but then it cleared up. It's just a matter of, to a certain extent, we train hard, and you get to the meet and you go to the line, and it's now follow the plan.
Yeah.
And you work on the things that have been, we're trying to correct. We can always get, a little better as far as, you're coming out of the blocks, your knee drive, that sort of thing for the sprinters. It's, they've been improving throughout the year. I don't think they're through setting records. I almost, I don't want to jinx us, but I would think within the next couple of weeks, we'll see a couple more records set there. And I wouldn't be surprised if each of them sets them.
And we look forward to those opportunities coming up here with LeMoyne, and obviously an appreciation for both cross country and track and field. Here with Alex Colonno and head coach Robin Wheeless of the men's and women's cross country and track teams. And of course, Alex with us in the world of cross country and track. I want to play some rapid fire, and we're going to all put each other on the hot seat. So we're going to go around and back. So we're all going to get to ask each other a question here. Alex, you get to ask me the first question.
I'm not very, I don't know. I wasn't prepared for rapid fire. Hold on. Let me think. Oh, all right. Dan, did you ever run, or did you ever want to get into running, or?
So this is a funny story. So I played basketball my whole life, and I hated running. I putting me on a track, I was like, I can't. I can't. You got to give me something to do. So I was like, give me a basketball, I'll play all day. But I think I associated the track that we had at Christian Brothers Academy in a negative light, because they would take us in school and they would put us on the track once a year, and they would say, run in front of everyone you go to school with, and then like if you finish last, then everybody's going to make fun of you type of thing. So it was more of this like razzing things that I thought about. Then I got older, and then I was like, it was during COVID. It was actually beginning of COVID. I think it was March 2020. And I was going through some stuff personally, and I was like, I got to get out of the house. Like, I got to clear my head. I just got to do something to like get out of this feeling of being stuck, and, figuratively and literally. So I got out of the house and I walked, and then I hit 10 days, and then I hit 20 days, and then I hit 40 days, and then I hit 80 days, and then I hit 200 days. And I was walking, I'm jogging, I'm doing different things. My body changed. My mentality was different. And that whole healthy body, healthy mind, healthy body, like that is such a real thing. So to answer your question, growing up, no, I didn't. But as a grown man now, I value so much. A couple days ago, beautiful day, I got my dog. I said, you want to go outside and go take a walk? And we take a walk. We take a little run together, and then we go back to walking. But I value it so much. I used to watch people, jogging by and running by when it's like 12 degrees outside. And I was like, how can they do that? And then I went through, just dedicating myself to cardio and to taking care of myself. And it changed my life. So I would say to anyone as a healthy PSA, if you don't run, if you don't jog, if you don't walk, I would suggest that you try, because there's something that it does to you that clears you and heals you and focuses you. And I can say that in the world that you both live in every day, I'm proud to live in a little tiny part of it, because it really helped me. So I would say that. I appreciate the question. All right, Alex, I'm going to ask you one.
All right.
Do you watch movies? Because I know that sometimes your generation doesn't watch any movies. Do you watch movies?
I do, actually, and that's actually one of my like favorite pastimes is watching movies.
Okay.
And my dad and I actually play this game where we'll make a movie quote to each other, or we'll quote something, and we have to say the movie. And one of the most impressive things ever was, I was watching a movie downstairs at my house, and my dad comes down the stairs, couldn't see the TV, heard like maybe 5 seconds of the movie, knew exactly where I was in the movie and what movie I was watching, and then named like the 4 main characters. Like, how did you do that? And so it's just like one of those, it's just like a game we play now. So like I'll do the same thing. I'll come down the stairs and I'll listen and I'll name the movie. And actually this is a funny story. It was over Christmas break. I was laying on the couch. It was me and my family watching a movie, or they were surfing through channel surfing, and I was laying on the couch with my eyes closed, just listening, and I heard, like in passing by, I heard 5 seconds of a movie, And I said what movie it was, and my mom looks over at me. She's like, "How the heck did you just do that? You're asleep with your eyes closed." I was like, "Listen, I don't know."
Yeah.
So yes, I do watch movies. I love movies. I don't have a favorite one though. I couldn't tell you my favorite movie.
Okay. And I honestly, that story that came off of just simply, are you watching them? That's a pretty incredible thing. And I feel like, so when I leave a movie, my friends, my family would say to me all the time, they're like, how can you just see a movie for the first time, walk out of the theater, we're not even like 3 steps in the parking lot, and you can go back and quote exactly things in the movie. You could say things like, they're like, how do you and I watch the same thing and you can retain the information to quote the movie 5 minutes after leaving the theater? And I was like, I don't, but I do the same thing with lyrics
Yeah.
and music. So I think I think a fun thing for us, and a little thing that we could do with Wake Up Call, is that you and I, Alex, should do a name that movie, and we should see how well we do in like a battle back and forth.
All right, yeah, sounds good to me.
So, Robin, my question for you is, do you, in any way, shape, and form, have the ability to name a movie like you just heard Alex can? So a yes or no on that is, do you have that expertise? And then the other side of it is, do you have a favorite movie quote?
Well, I can do that, but most of the movies I know are older movies. My wife often says to me, "Yeah, how old are you?" Because I'll be watching movies from the 40s and that sort of thing. Um, Favorite movie quote. Um, well, it might be the I don't know that I should say it out loud, but the one with John Wayne in True Grit, where um, Robert Duvall had just um, been saying something to him. Well, Robert Duvall said to him, "That's mighty bold talk for a one-eyed fat man." And then John Wayne says, "Fill your hands, you." And
Yeah.
but I love that movie. It's one of the hundreds I love.
Yeah, John Wayne, known for definitely grabbing the screen and the people watching him for sure. What is your question for me, Robin?
Let's see. Um, if you could go to any sport, any place in the world for the championship, what one would it be?
It's a great question. I'm going to pick something I haven't done, and this is unique because growing up, all we had when I was born in '85. All that was talked about was baseball, football, basketball. So if you were a kid, your parents would say, "Do you want to play baseball, football, or basketball?" I wanted to play basketball. My dad wanted me to play baseball. My mom told me she would murder me if I played football. So that's how kind of my thing was laid out. And I played baseball for a little while, and I played basketball for many many years, and I played pickup football, and but soccer was never offered to me. Now I'm Italian and Spanish, and there's things that my feet do that I didn't teach them how to do. I didn't learn that until I was older, and I was just kind of messing around. My cousin was playing soccer, and we were out on the road, and she kicked me over the soccer ball, and I was doing different things with my feet, and she goes, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Do you know what you're doing?" I was like, "I have no idea what I'm doing." She's like, "You should play soccer. At 5'8", you're a small basketball player. At 5'8", perfect for soccer." So I didn't end up playing because I never grew up with the opportunity, and it was never really like pushed out there, unfortunately. But I started coaching soccer when I graduated college. And I coached Carbondale's travel team for their YMCA, and I had kids. I have U12, so I had 8 to 11-year-olds. And I absolutely loved it. I was dating a girl at the time that was playing at my alma mater, and so I got to know her and her family, and they all played and they watched it all the time. So I fell in love with it. And I also, I'm one of those people that loves Ted Lasso and wishes that AFC Richmond was a real team. So if I went to any event, I'd probably want to go to something overseas in their football world and watch a soccer match that either had to do with a team having the opportunity to move up a league, because I think that that's really interesting, or to see some championship of some sort. But I don't think, we talk about cross country and track. I think soccer now is starting to get exposure in this country, but there's something to it that's just really incredible. And I think I'd want to go to Wembley Stadium, honestly. So I'd probably want to do something like that. Now, here's the fun part for me. In the last piece of this Dolphin Dive, I get to watch you both question each other. So, Coach, you get to ask Alex a question in rapid fire.
Okay, let's see. Trying to think now. What's the last thing you cooked, and what was special about what you put in it?
So actually, I did. I bought on Saturday a flat top, like countertop flat top Black & Decker grill.
Yeah.
And I went to Wegmans and I got asparagus and I got some chicken. I got some Brussels sprouts. So I did the Brussels sprouts in a pan. I did a little chicken stock, a little paprika, a little salt, a little pepper, garlic, onion powder, and white wine, and some olive oil and some butter. And I cooked that off. And I let those cook for about 35, 40 minutes. And then I grilled some asparagus. I did olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic, hot pepper, grilled the asparagus, and then I grilled my chicken. So I did chicken with grilled asparagus and Brussels sprouts. And it was special because I put a little sugar in the Brussels sprouts to caramelize them.
His roommate should weigh 500 pounds. He does. I hear this all the time.
Coach, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, when I was in college, I ate chicken flavored ramen and peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah.
I wish I was your roommate, Alex. I love to cook, by the way.
Yeah.
But I wish, because when I made tacos, it was my junior year, when I was making tacos downstairs, there were like plates that my roommates had that should have gotten up and walked out of our condo. And I'm sitting here making tacos going like, I might have to put these on my hand. I don't know if there's anything to eat them on. So I can definitely give a lot of value and appreciation for that. Coach, I agree with you. I don't know how everybody keeps their pounds down, but Alex, shout out to you. This is a PSA for every student athlete anywhere in the world. That cooking, people don't do in their 40s, in their 50s. What you did here as a student athlete. So yes. I don't know how other people are living, Alex, but in your place, people are living good.
Yeah, I make fresh sauce every Monday. So I made my sauce. I bought a food mill and I boiled some tomatoes, and then I peeled them and I put them in the food mill and I made fresh sauce with the boiled tomatoes. And that was last week. This week I do. I go to Wegmans. I'll buy the cans of boiled and peeled tomatoes and I'll just put them in my sauce like that. But yeah, every Monday I make sauce, pasta and sauce. I made meatballs too on Monday, fresh meatballs.
All right, so I've now changed the terms of our agreement. We are going to do a name that movie while we eat your food. That's
okay. Sounds good to me.
All right, Alex. What's your question for Coach?
Coach, what's for dinner tonight?
A good question. I have a feeling it's probably going to be either Alto Cinco or Avocolis. I haven't gotten quite to the point where I'm going to get the grill out yet, but for the most part, I'm a to-go kind of guy. And Alto Cinco is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and you said Alto Cinco or Avocolis. I've done a lot of work over the years with Avicoli's, so I got to ask you, Coach, do you have a go-to meal at Avicoli's?
There's a few things I really like. I like they have there's a steak with blue cheese and asparagus that I really like. I will say I'm not a fan of they have that broccoli rabe. I'm not a fan of that. I like the florets or whatever. Um, Now I like they have a seafood um, one that's a blend of different. I think they have scallops and whitefish in there, and it's that's excellent. But I mix it up here and there on that. It depends on my mood. I'll often get the special. So I like their sausage. What is it? Just sausage pizza.
Yeah.
But
You
they're excellent.
I love talking about food when I'm in the studio and I'm starving. So with that being said, I appreciate it so very much to Coach Robin Wheeless of men's and women's cross country and track and field. Robin, as always, it's my honor and my pleasure, and I greatly value what you do on the heights, and I appreciate you always. Alex Colonno, what a way to make a first impression here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, setting the bar way too high for the student athletes coming up after you, man. But we appreciate you both, and please, folks, support men's and women's cross country and track and field on campus on the heights at LeMoyne. Fantastic student athletes, great competition, and a wonderful coach that puts a ton of work in. And I don't know how you do it, Coach. So for Alex and for Robin, I appreciate you both this morning. I thank you for being a part of the show, and fins up.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Take care. That coming here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called going on right now for Alex Colonno, but an overall encompassing men's and women's cross country and track with head coach Robin Wheeless, and with what the teams are doing in general right now. So that was awesome, a ton of fun, and I loved it. I'm happy we got to have them both together. So that actually worked out perfectly in the conversation. And Alex, man, there's something about if your last name ends in a vowel, you're supposed to know how to cook. And Colonno sounds like he knows what he's doing here. And I got to step my game up because I love cooking, but Jeepers Christmas, this man's... and Brussels sprouts, if you do them right, they're good. You cannot leave a Brussels sprout. It looks like a little baby cabbage, right? And when you have a Brussels sprout, if you leave it just full, right, you leave it as is. It's kind of like leaving a head of lettuce without pulling it apart. If you just leave it, the flavor is so intense. I think it's too much. And when you cut it up, when you shave it, and you put it on, you put it on the grill, you put it on the stovetop, and you season it up, and you caramelize it. They're really good. But when it's just a Brussels sprout, it's like eating an alien. It's like a little alien head. That's what they look like. It's got that little perfect, cartoon alien head. So, cut them up. Cut them up. That's how you get your kids to eat them. Cut it up, put it with some other stuff, season it up, do your thing. It's how my mom got me to eat mushrooms. I never liked mushrooms growing up. And my mom started, she would put them on the stovetop and, she'd let them caramelize and she'd season them and get them some flavor. And I'd eat half the bowl of them. I'd be looking at my parents like, you want any more? And I'm just forking them. And first 13 years of my life, I never ate them. Then I'd turn 14 years old and my mom did that. And she's like, give them a try. And they were awesome. And then I realized you could do that with Brussels sprouts. You could do that with anything. So if you want your kids to eat their vegetables, folks, there's a way to do it. You just you got to have the right flavor, the right seasoning, caramelize them up, throw them on the grill, throw them on the stovetop, and you can make it happen. So thanks to Alex Colonno for giving us not only a look inside of the world of cross country and track, but also a look inside of his kitchen. And to all of his roommates, you are spoiled. You know, to everyone that has lived with him at any point in his time at LeMoyne, God bless y'all. You're eating better than 99.99999999999% of student athletes out there. So God bless, man. That man needs to have a restaurant. Get him an NIL deal. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We will be back after this to talk about the NFL and the upcoming draft.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope you feel good. I hope everything's going well. You know, I know that life may be hard, right? And just a few days ago, we're talking about a tragedy in Syracuse, and that's on my mind. I know I talked about it on Monday, but it doesn't leave my mind. And I just really hope that you're taking the time to really enjoy the people and the animals in your life that you love, and that you just you're being you. You know, we hear it all the time. People say life is short, life is short, life is short, life is short. And it doesn't really hit you till it hits you. Right. And I think as human beings, we would be so much better off if we heeded the warnings and the wisdom of others and the knowledge instead of waiting until like something has to wake you up. I named the show Wake Up Call to be that. For me, for you, for whoever. To be a reminder of what matters, to spread positivity, to spread, to make you laugh, and to talk about faith, talk about God. When I set out to be a broadcaster, I never thought I'm going to be one of the only people in the media that talks about God. I'm going to be one of the only people in the media that's honest. I didn't think honesty and faith and goodwill toward others was a difficult choice. To some people, it's not even a thought. And I spent most of my life worrying about what other people thought and what other people said and how people treated me. And I don't think any of that matters, because shame on them. The shame's not on you. Shame on them for doing something that they would never want to have done to them. Shame on them for trying to hurt somebody, especially a good person, and a person who's not doing anything to anybody. You spend most of your life going, well, why do they do that? Well, why do they say that? Well, why do they think that? Well, maybe I should change. Maybe I should stop being me, because these people don't like me. And what you realize in life, if you stop being yourself because somebody doesn't like you, then you turn into somebody else, and then somebody else doesn't like you, and then you turn into another version of yourself, and then somebody else doesn't like you, and then you go back to one of those previous versions, and somebody else doesn't like you. You're never going to please everybody. And nobody's God, right? Except for God. So,
with the tragedy that has been on my mind and on my family's mind and on the minds of many of us, I hope that you're living today for today. And I hope that you're doing the things you want to do and realizing that most of the time your mind will make something way bigger than what it is. Make it wait, you want to ask somebody out and your mind is running this, and you're talking to your friends, and you're talking to your family, and you're talking to yourself, you're talking to God, and then you just think like, hey, there's two answers, yes or no. You want to go out? Yeah, cool. You want to go out? No. All right, check. Now I don't have to regret the fact that I never asked that person out. Cross the line out. We make things so big. So big. They're not that big. They're not that big. If I was on the Titanic, I'd be doing everything in my power in that moment to take the knowledge and wisdom that I have and put my mind, body, heart, and soul on the line to try and save as many people as I could. And why is it hard to pick a place to go to lunch? You know what I mean? So if we're willing to do the things in the high octane situations, then it's not hard to ask somebody out. It's not hard to pick where you're going for lunch. It's not, come on. If the most difficult decision you have to make today is what shirt should I wear, you get down on your knees and you thank God. You thank God. Oh my gosh, you thank God. You give God all the glory. You put your hands up, you put your hands up to God, and you get down on the ground on your knees and you say thank you. The toughest thing you have to do today is go, what t-shirt am I going to wear? That's a life worth living, man. But they all are. And I just, it's on my mind. I know we're going to talk about the NFL in a second, but it's on my mind that, like, please stop caring about what other people think. Please stop being afraid and just don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up, man. Don't give up. Because God is on the other side of everything you're afraid of. God is on the other side of everything that the devil's throwing out there, man. There is the reality that, right before you achieve something incredible, the devil goes, hey, you don't want to go down that road. Hey, you don't want to do that. And God's standing right behind him holding a gift. But you can't see God because you're focused on the devil. And you need not be. And, this world can be a lot of things. This world can say a lot of things. This world can do a lot of things. But if you let this world take your belief in God and take your spirit, you gave the world something it does not deserve. Don't give up your belief in God. And do not give up your spirit. Life is a lot of things, but we overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate it. We don't want to hear no, so we're afraid to ask for a yes. That's why a lot of people don't chase their dreams. That's why a lot of people settle in relationships. It's why a lot of people settle in romantic relationships, in friendships, with their families, in jobs, where they live. A lot of people settle because they're afraid to hear no. But if you're afraid to hear no to the point where you don't ask the question, you will never hear yes. Ever. If you're afraid to hear no, you will never hear yes. I want you to really, really think about what I just said. If you are afraid to hear no, you will never hear yes. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. People are like, well, Dan, if I ask somebody out and they say no, I'm going to feel like I'm inadequate. I'm going to feel like I'm not good enough. I'm going to feel like I don't matter. Dan, if I apply for this job and I don't get it, then I'm going to think, well, maybe I should change my careers and maybe my dreams aren't my dreams and maybe I suck at life. Dan, if this friend doesn't want to hang out with me and they ask another friend to go to the concert, well, then maybe nobody cares about me. No. If I've learned anything about life, the doors that close were not supposed to be open. If I didn't have doors closed in my face, I wouldn't have started my company. And I definitely wouldn't have started it at 26. And I wake up every single day and I work for myself. My job every day of my life is to be 100% me and chase 100% of my dreams. And I have nobody stopping me, questioning me, because I'm not listening. I don't care. I did, but I don't anymore. And it's an everyday battle sometimes. But you have to get to a point where you realize other people's trajectory of you, their belief in what you can and cannot do, that's their belief. Who is someone to tell you what you are capable of when they do not live inside your body, have your brain, your heart, or your soul? God gave you all of those things. He didn't give it to them. He didn't give it to person on Twitter, person on Facebook, person on YouTube, person on Snapchat, person on TikTok, person in the classroom, person in the office, person on the street. He didn't give any of your things to them. So why are you giving it to them? Your mind is yours. Your heart is yours. Your soul is yours. Your body is yours. If people don't respect any which one of those things and don't respect you, they don't get you. Let me tell you something. When somebody tells you you can't do something, you think everybody told Michael Jordan he could do something? Wasn't he cut in high school? You think everybody told the people that said the earth wasn't flat and that it was instead round? You think everybody believed those people? You think everybody agreed with the way that George Washington ran the first ever presidency? You think they liked the fact that he said, I'm not going to be a dictator and I'm going to step down? Do you think people liked when Michael Jackson came on the scene and changed music? And he's out there grabbing this and turning this and doing that. You think everybody was like, I like that? You think everybody liked the way the Prince dresses? You think that people liked, everybody liked that? Everybody liked Elton John's shoes with the fish in them? If he had, I think he had those. But you have to think about the fact that the people that most of us know in life, like we know their music, we know their movies, whatever. Most people know who Jennifer Aniston is. Most people know who Michael Jackson is. Most people know who Prince is. Most people know who Michael Jordan is. Most people know who Muhammad Ali is. Most people know who Brad Pitt is. Do you think those people had 100% support? 100% love? 100% opportunity? You think none of those people lost a job? You think none of those people didn't get a job? You think none of those people were broken up with, lied to, cheated on, disrespected, thrown in the trash, treated like they didn't matter? You think every single one of those people had 100% love, respect, support, empathy, and understanding at all times of their entire life, always? There's people that talk badly about dead people. There's people that talk badly about Michael Jackson today. And I'm not here to talk about Michael Jackson in the court and this and that. I'm just saying, there are people that will talk about Michael Jackson today. He's been dead for years. And when I look at life, why do we overcomplicate things? And I'm talking to myself right now. Why do we overcomplicate things? Why do we make it like it's so hard to do the things we want to do? We're talking ourselves out of doing things. How about talking ourselves into doing things? How about talking ourselves into positives, into growing, into calculated risks, into trying? How about talking ourselves into changing our lives for the better? How about that? What do you think life would look like if we started talking ourselves into things, not out of things? If we started to believe in how far we can go as opposed to being too afraid to take a step. I challenge us all today. I challenge us all today to talk ourselves into chasing our dreams, into asking that person out, into trying something new, trying a new food, going outside of our box. Because regret is a very real thing. And regret does not describe who sits and goes, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not saying every idea is a great idea. But I'm saying when you believe in something in every fiber of your being, when you want something, when you know you'll regret it if you don't do it, ask. How many girls I asked out that said no or didn't say anything? Do you know how many jobs I applied for out of college that didn't say anything? Does that mean that I'm an ugly Quasimodo? No. Does it mean that I'm not capable of doing those jobs? No. It means that those people didn't care enough to give me a chance. Or they were focused on something else. Or they wanted somebody else. And as human beings, we want everyone we ask out to say yes. We want every job we go to say yes. We want everything to work out. Why can't it all just work out? And we don't pay attention to the things that do work out. You woke up this morning. Something worked out. If you have someone to complain to this morning, something worked out. If you got somebody that looks out for you and will put themselves on the line for your happiness, something worked out. If you have a dog or a cat or a bird or any animal in your house that loves you, and you come home to a wagging tail, something worked out. When you don't have the wife and kids or the husband and kids you want, but you get up every day and you do what you love and love what you do, and a ton of people you know hate their jobs, something worked out. And I don't believe you have to choose. I'm going to settle with my wife, but I'm going to do the job I love. No. You don't settle in any faction of your life. If you settle in any part of your life, if you live with regret, then that creeps into everything else. You keep thinking of, people that go back to high school reunions, college reunions, and they're like, man, I should have asked that person out. Man, I should have asked to do that. Man, I should have talked to that teacher more. Man, I should have tried this. Man, I should have. I don't go back to Marywood University going, I should have asked this girl out. I should have gone out for the station manager. I should have tried out for sport. I did the things I wanted to do. You have to live your life like you're not going to get to live it again, because you're not going to get to live this life again. When we're done, I believe in heaven. And I believe that there's a heaven and a hell. And I most certainly want to go to heaven, and I don't want to know nothing about hell. And you got to live this life, man. You got to. And this week with that tragedy in my hometown of Syracuse, New York, it's in my head. One of my friends is so close to where it happened that him and I are talking about it, and he goes, oh, I heard it. I go, you heard it? He goes, yeah. He's like, are you kidding me? He said it sounded like a machine gun went off. He heard it from his house. He's got kids. He's got grandkids. He's got a wife. He heard it from his house. And he's also a friend that went through cancer and could have died. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And something worked out because he's here. There was a time period where we thought he may very well pass away. But he didn't. It worked out. So, if you are hearing my message today, you woke up. Something worked out. Chase your dreams. Go after the things you want. Don't live with regret. Be good to people. Be good to animals. Be good to nature. Be good to yourself. And if the worst thing that you hear is no, yeah, it sucks in the moment, but you think me owning my own business today that I care about the 100 some odd no's I heard? I don't even remember where I applied to. I remember one place because it was the one place that sent me back a message. Everybody else didn't take the time to send me anything. One Connecticut TV station sent me a postcard. And I appreciate that. I don't remember the people that said no. I remember the postcard. I remember where it was from. I remember the people that have helped me in my career. And the people that have taught me things. I can pull up their faces like that. I can pull up words. I've kept things that they've written to me. I just found the letters of recommendation that I got. So, folks, in the moment, you may not want to hear no. For that job, for that girl, for that friend, for that this, for that. But I'm telling you, as someone who's lived on this planet for 38 plus years, in the moment it sucks, and then you forget about it. You forget about it. The things that we thought would kill us in the moment don't even matter 5 days later, 5 months later, 10 years down the road. Some things may take longer than others to get past, to get over, to get through. But you always do, because life goes on. So whatever you're feeling today that seems impossible, trust me. You can get through it. You will get through it. And there are brighter days coming. But don't darken today in hope of a brighter tomorrow. Try to make today as bright as you can. We'll be back after this fast break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your hobby shop. Folks, they got it all. Hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, football, AEW, UFC, all sport. You don't know what you're going to find inside of GG Cards and Breaks from day to day. That's why you got to go in there and continuously build up your collection of awesome, awesome, awesome things that you can hand down to your friends, your family, your kids, your grandkids. They also have Pokemon and Disney Lorcana. Very excited. When I go into GG Cards and Breaks, it's different for me. It's different for me because Josh is different. Anthony is different. The team is different. I appreciate them. They handle customer service differently. Their hearts are different. Their passion for the hobby, I love. They go the extra mile. They have everything you need. If you walked into GG Cards and Breaks and you didn't know anything about collecting sports cards or Pokemon or Disney Lorcana, if you want to know about the Disney Lorcana world, you sit there and have a conversation with Anthony. You want to know about Pokemon and the sports card world and what's this and what's that, you sit down with the staff, sit down with Josh, sit down with Anthony, talk to them about this, talk to Alex, talk to Joel. They just make the hobby better. They have a passion that's contagious. And I respect it. That's why I go there. I work very hard for the money that I have. And GG Cards and Breaks is where I spend a very fair amount of money. And it's because of the people. It's because what they offer. And it's because I love that store features people of all ages. You see a 5-year-old kid walking around with a jersey on looking for his favorite team. And then you see somebody in their 60s, 70s sitting there talking, discussing. I love it. The trade nights are incredible at the store. They're incredible at the Wildcat. And this week, they're going to be at the Wildcat, April 18th, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. I'm going to be there on the microphone. Can't wait to see you. We made history. We've had 2 there. The first one, like 70 people in that party room. The next one, and 70 people, they were all over. There's all over the place. The next one, 100 people. 100 people in that room. Filled up the whole room. And it was great. And it was all different ages. And it was faces I had seen. And it was faces I hadn't seen. And it's so much fun. Because you don't know what somebody's going to have. And I am just always in awe of the fact that the collecting world continues. And I have so many heartfelt memories in the world of collecting sports cards that telling you to go to GG Cards and Breaks isn't something that I take lightly. It's something that I look forward to doing with my kids someday. And with my little kid, Lily, my little pup, she's already been there. She's already hung out with the team. So head over to GG Cards and Breaks today. Make a memory. Make a memory that lasts a lifetime. I got all kinds of respect for all of you. Thank you for what you do. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, I want to jump in here for a second on what's coming up in the NFL and what's happened in the NFL. We've had some moves that have gone on in the NFL, my people. And to look at these recent moves of the last few days, Rock Ya-Sin, one of the most interesting names out there. Not a fan of the word sin, but it's not his fault that's, the hyphenated part of his name. So Rock Ya-Sin, very interesting name. Signed a 1-year, $1.29 million contract with San Francisco. The cornerback did. Looking at some moves here, CJ Uzomah is going to be a tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles now. How about it? A 1-year, $1.37 million contract. Nick Chubb restructured his contract. 1 year, $2.275 million restructured contract with the Cleveland Browns. Matthew Wright, a kicker, signed a 1-year, $1.055 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Looking at some other moves here. Equanimeous St. Brown, the wide receiver, signed a 1-year, $1.125 million contract with the New Orleans Saints. Laken Tomlinson, offensive guard, signed a 1-year contract with the Seattle Seahawks. DeForest Buckner, D-tackle, signed a 2-year, $46 million extension with Indianapolis. Money moves there. Devontae Smith signed a 3-year, $75 million contract extension with the Philadelphia Eagles. They also exercised a $15 million on Devontae for 2025. And then Patrick Murtaugh, a tight end from overseas, signed a contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Angelo Blackson, who was on the defensive line for Jacksonville, he signed a contract to join the Denver Broncos at D-end. Jalen Waddle, Miami exercised a $15.59 million option for 2025 on Jalen Waddle. And then it became a $13.25 million option. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's for Jalen Phillips. So they took an option on two players. Jalen and Jalen, spelled differently, though. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver. Miami exercised a $15.59 million option for him for 2025 to keep him on. And Jalen Phillips, DN for Miami, they exercised a 13 defensive end, $13.38 million for that. John Ryan, a punter, signed a contract with the Seattle Seahawks. And Royce Freeman, who was originally drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Was it Royce Freeman who was drafted by the Buccaneers? There's two guys that were drafted in the same year, and they get confusing. Yeah, it was Royce Freeman that was drafted by the Bucs. So Royce Freeman, and I'm figuring that out without looking it up here, right? No, he was drafted by the Broncos. It was Broncos. Then he went to the Panthers, the Texans, and the Rams. He's been all over the place. Royce Freeman was drafted by the Broncos. That's who it was. The Bucs drafted another guy that I'm trying to remember his name. The Bucs drafted, because there was a guy that they drafted that never worked out. And I think they said, like, when he first got on the team, Ronald Jones Jr. That's what, yeah, Royce and Ronald Jones. I think from the beginning of them coming into the NFL, I would get their names confused. So Ronald Jones Jr. was drafted by the Bucs. Royce Freeman was drafted by the Broncos. Royce Freeman signed a contract today for 1 year with the Dallas Cowboys. It's the only transaction that I have for today so far. So there's been a bunch of moves that are happening. It's a very adventurous offseason for the NFL. We have seen offenses that are going to almost completely change. We have seen quarterbacks all over the place just bouncing around in this musical chairs of quarterbacking. So it's definitely been an interesting offseason, and I think it's going to create for a very unique season this season for 2024, 2025. And I'm absolutely positively looking forward to what's going to come up this season and what all these moves mean and how they're going to shake out. How many of them are going to make sense? How many of them might be a little bit of, I don't want to, I mean, some of the moves work out, some of them don't, right? So I'm interested to see which one of these work out. I'm hoping that they all work out. And one of the ones that I'm circling that I talked about with Murph is Stephon Diggs and the fact that he is talented, but he also seems to be a little bit of a problem and a little bit of a head case. So I will be monitoring that. I hope it doesn't happen for his benefit and for the benefit of the Houston Texans. I'm hoping that he's not an issue, but we shall see. We shall definitely see on that. The NFL draft is coming up a week from tomorrow, and I'm ecstatic. I'm going to be providing for you on the back end of Wake Up Call this week some of my early thoughts before we go into my mock draft, because my mock draft is going to be unveiled at Pizza Man on stage on draft night on April 25th with Al Romano's mock draft. And that's going to be at 6 o'clock at Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. And then the draft will follow at 8 o'clock, which really means the draft will probably follow at 8:13 or 8:31 because it takes a while for them to get that first pick on the screen. But I look forward to being out at Pizza Man with y'all in a week. I can't believe the draft is in a week's time. But a lot of great stuff coming up. Very excited for it. Very much looking forward to it and can't wait to share it with you. And I appreciate sharing all the time we get to share together on Facebook.com and YouTube.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, where you're watching and listening to us on YouTube and Facebook, and you're listening on Podbean worldwide to Wake Up Call Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube, among others. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these outlets or Wake Up Call DT, and you will find us. Subscribe, follow. It's free to do it. And you can also search us on any one of your search engines, Safari, Google, Mozilla. You can look up my name or Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or Wake Up Call DT, and you'll find us there. You can ask Alexa and Google Play devices to play, and Google Home devices to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they will do that for you as well. So it is very, very accessible and dang near impossible to not find us, so we hope that you do. And you could visit our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Carvel DeWitt, where today is Buy One, Get One Sunday, which is a perfect day to go and get a Dolphin. Why not get 2 Dolphins for the price of 1? The DT Dolphin down the road from LeMoyne College, right at Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. You have the opportunity to get a DT Dolphin mint chocolate chip ice cream that is green for the Dolphins with hot fudge, whipped cream, a cherry, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin. Jumping out of your whipped cream is available to you every day of the week, and it's buy one, get one on Wednesdays for the DT Dolphin. Go and get it. The Wildcat Sports Pub, where we will be tomorrow for GG Cards and Breaks Trade Night, April 18th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Look forward to seeing you out on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus. Awesome food, awesome people, sports cards. There are people that have dreams of nights like that. Well, we have the opportunity to bring it to you in real life tomorrow night on April 18th. Can't wait to see you at the Wildcat. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, CNY's Snack Capital. Are you kidding me? You want something for your sweet, savory tooth? They got something for all your teeth at Ma and Pa's, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. GG Cards and Breaks, I've told you over and over again, folks. It's different, feels different, it hits different. Awesome people, awesome products. Packs, boxes, graded, singles, things being added sometimes daily, and extremely knowledgeable people if you've never collected before, or if you have. Head to GG Cards and Breaks. Avicoli's, that barbecue chicken pizza, I think about it all the time. All the time. I love Avicoli's. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding. There's no place that I trust with Lily other than them. Because of Lorraine, because of Chad, because of their attention to detail, because they make sure that the dogs that are coming in are going to play nice with the dogs that are there already. It is not just yeah, we accept everything, we're going to make money. It's we want to make sure that your dog is safe and other dogs are safe. So we want it to be a good and healthy environment for all. It's about everybody being okay at the daycare and at the campground. And I respect and appreciate them so much for the work they do. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, fearless leader, Jimmer Sikowski. I don't have to say anything else. But if I did say something else, I would say I love that they have a strong faith. I love that they don't hide it. I love that they close on Sunday for God. And I love that they're in my community. I love the team members that are there. And I'm always moved by their incredible stories and their beautiful souls. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay are more than chicken sandwiches. Pizza Man. That's where we're going to be for the draft. That's where we are every year for the draft. I love being at Pizza Man. I love their lemon pepper wings, extra crispy. I love their sweet heat pizza. My mom just said yesterday we were out with a family friend, and she's like, we should go to Pizza Man. I'm looking at my mom going, hey, you have to sell me on that. Absolutely. 1,000%. Shout out to the Delias and all the amazing work that they do and the incredible staff. Jordan, Heather, everybody out there. Noreen, I see you. Everybody in the kitchen, everybody on the floor. Working as a server, working as a bartender. bringing food out and delivering. I respect y'all, and I thank you. I thank you for the family atmosphere that you create, and the fact that, I mean, I spend, every time I go to Pizza Man, I'm like, I'm going to be here for like an hour or two, hour and a half. I'm there for like 5 hours, 7 hours because of the people. It's because of the people. Great Lakes Honda City, thank you for servicing my vehicle. Thank you for giving me my vehicles for over a decade. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for giving me prices that matter, prices that counted, prices that made sense. Thank you for affordable, safe vehicles that I trust. 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard. Make an appointment today. Get over to Great Lakes Honda City. Mother's Cupboard. It's where I have my sandwich. I love breakfast. I love breakfast for dinner. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. And I don't apologize for it because I love breakfast. And I typically struggle when I go to pick breakfast because I'm like, well, I kind of want French toast. I want something sweet. But I also love bacon, and I love eggs. And then I sat down with the ownership at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, and I said, bacon, egg, and cheese is my favorite breakfast sandwich. 2 pieces of French toast, sign me up. And they've been selling them things like crazy since the day I put it out there. And that's because you're awesome. And I'm happy that you like the idea that I had, and I'm happy that you like the flavors. I've had people tell me, why wouldn't I like it? It has every single thing you need in one dish. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich, cut it up and have it with syrup. You can only get it, the Cuse McMother is what it's called, at Mother's Cupboard. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find your Dolphins during Dolphin time. Like today, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time, you'll be hanging out with the Dolphins. First and third Wednesday of each month, AD and DT featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive dives into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. We underpromise and overdeliver, and you can find all of our content on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and the notification bell, and you will find our LeMoyne playlist on our YouTube channel. You can also go to wakeupcalldt.com and find the LeMoyne Dolphins on our homepage, as well as underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com and find yourself on the heights supporting this team, and when they're on the road as well. So many fantastic student athletes. And I say this team because I include all the teams, the faculty, the students, the administration in one big Fin family. Go support that family right off of Erie Boulevard, and you'll find them up the hill in Syracuse. And you'll find them online at LeMoyneDolphins.com. You already know. Fins up. Always. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The baseball team is in action in their second ever season of their existence, happening right now in the community, which I absolutely positively love. You will find your Bobcats with men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, and esports throughout the year. And you'll find the student athletes, coaches, and administration only here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to tell their exclusive stories. And I appreciate all of our roundtables, all of our panel discussions, and all of our one-on-ones. You will find the Bobcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell. And, of course, you will also see our playlist for BSC Syracuse on our YouTube channel. You'll find them on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and you'll find them on the exclusive partners tab. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find your Bearcats every Tuesday during Bearcat time, and that means that student athletes, coaches, and administration will be joining me throughout the month, each year, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, celebrating Binghamton University and what it means to be a Bearcat. We have our specials each month, one of them being called Moments with Marshall, and Moments with Marshall celebrates the Binghamton University Athletic Department with Athletics Director Gene Marshall, giving us an inside look behind the scenes of what's going on at Binghamton University. And the Bearcat Break Room joins you on all the other Tuesdays to celebrate student athletes, coaches, and administration, telling their unique stories and their roads on how they got to Binghamton University, what Binghamton University means to them, and where they're heading from here. I always appreciate my time with the student athletes, coaches, and administration, as well as Gene Marshall. And you can find all of our content with Binghamton by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll find the Binghamton University playlist on our YouTube channel. You'll also find the Bearcats B on our homepage of wakeupcalldt.com, and you'll find it on the exclusive partners tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information, go to bubearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said here on the show, I want to give a big time shout out to LeMoyne, and I want to thank head coach of men's and women's cross country and track and field, Robin Wheeless. I also want to thank cross country and track student athlete Alex Colonno for being a part of the show today. I want to thank Alex for invigorating me to go out and get some groceries and start cooking more at home. So to Alex, to Robin, to all of you, I hope you have a fantastic day. Head to Mod Pause and get some snacks for you and the ones you love today. Whether you're watching a movie at home or you're going to the movie theater, put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, whatever. It's fine. We've been doing it our whole lives. So whether it's a movie at home or a movie out at the movie theater, whether it's a TV show at home or at a friend's house, or you're going to a game, or you're traveling, or just for fun, something to have in the car, or it's a special surprise when you pick up the kids from school. Mon Paz has it all on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, and we look forward to seeing you out there. Big time shout out to everybody that's with us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, on our YouTube channel and on wakeupcalldt.com. God bless.